can't pack up.
That was our plan.
That was our plan.
But then we found elk.
Well, we found elk, and then, I mean, think about how far we walked yesterday without water. There was no water.
Yeah.
So it's like, you just keep walking until you find water.
I'm gonna try to come here in August. I'll try to see if I can map water out.
And that's
Every couple. Because I'd like to ideally find like a big loop we could do, like a 20-mile loop or something.
We did.
And we can even park 2 cars at the other ends.
And that's what I wanted to do with going way up to Silver Butte, get dropped off up there, and work. And this was gonna be like part of coming back through here.
The only reason we did what we did was because we found elk.
Oh yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
We had all those same plans.
Yeah.
And now we just ran out of time.
So it's Thursday, our last full day, and we are packing up.
The first day that I woke up and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that we've been out here for 8 days.
Yeah.
Hiking, humping, big heavy packs and stuff, and just getting mentally beat down as well. I think that was one of the things we were talking about this morning, is how mentally beat down we've been getting we get on elk, and now it's been a day and a half and we haven't heard a peep.
Yeah.
We haven't heard a peep, we haven't seen anything.
I mean, we went up the top last night because we know they're coming off the top at night. We've heard them coming, in here. Went up there and set that ambush up. Nothing. So, and then ripped some bugles this morning. And silence. So we're gonna do the Hail Mary of Hail Marys and pack up, head down to the truck, and close our eyes and point to the map and go there.
Yeah.
And see, or go down and hit some low country.
Try chasing deer.
Chase some deer. But I mean, this is it. We got the rest of today, and then
I mean,
that's really it.
Yeah.
So
that's basically it. Just
tomorrow,
today.
Tomorrow we gotta get on the road. So
Yup.
a little frustrated, physically and mentally beat down, but still been a good trip. Still learned an awful lot.
Learned a lot.
I
I mean,
wouldn't-
first backcountry hunt, right? First time we've packed in, slept out of our backpacks in this style of stuff.
Yeah.
So now we learned what we need that we didn't have.
Yep.
We learned what we had that we don't need.
Food,
I think the biggest
water.
factor that we've taken away from this week is water.
Yeah.
We
Underestimated
highly underestimated the shortage of water on the mountain and being able to find that water.
It's kind of limited us a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, even with the Onyx and all the greatness it has, we thought, oh, there's tons of streams, tons of intermittent creeks and everything like that. Well, they were all dry.
Yeah.
So that kind of hampered us and locked us into a particular area.
I don't know that we would do anything different though on this trip. I mean, we could sit here and armchair quarterback it, and second guess ourselves, but we found elk. Mm-hmm. I was on that cow. We were on that bull a few times. We've heard them in here at night. We're finding their sign. They're on this mountain.
I mean, we weren't in elk every day.
No.
But it's a real hunt. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens.
Yeah.
And we're showing you what happens and how we're feeling and the ups and downs and everything that's going on.
Same thing
out
happens
here.
to everybody else.
Yeah. And how different would we be talking? We talked about this morning. How different would we be talking if you would have been able to shoot that cow?
Mm-hmm.
If we would have got on that bull, whether it was a first, second, third time, and got him? We'd be talking completely different.
My first elk hunt, and I drew on a cow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm happy with how things have gone. I mean, yeah, obviously, taking meat home to put in the freezer would be really good, but as you've heard me say, and he's said numerous times, success isn't an animal on the ground. I mean, that's the bonus. Success is what we've done this last 8-9 days, is come out here and do what we did. That, and success in itself. I mean, we were joking, we sat on the mountain last night and the only thing we got out of it was watching the sunset. Still, I mean, those are, you're not going to get those experiences sitting at home on the couch, right?
Well, and then how many people probably doubted us that we would be able to survive the whole
I know
week and a half out here, a little over a week out here, hiking 7 to 8 miles a day with full packs.
I know there's a lot of people who are doubting whether I could do it or not. Heck, I doubted whether I could do it or not. I'm still doubting whether I'm going to make it to the truck. Well, we headed down south, downloaded some maps, and got some cell phone service and downloaded some maps. And now we're going to spend the rest of the day seeing if we can't find some deer to get into.
Came down into some of our open country.
Yeah.
More lower elevation. We're at like 5,000 now, 4,800. So
Yeah, a little more open, and try our luck and see if we can't find some deer to chase and kind of close out this trip that way. Hopefully we'll have some success. So I'm get on walking down this road here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what despair looks like. Defeat on the mountain. 9 days in the wilderness will get you, especially when you don't pack anything out.
Alright, so the elk hunt has wrapped up. I appreciate you guys watching, and if you haven't seen all the videos, go back, watch the other videos, watch from the beginning, and you can see how the whole hunt progressed through the approximately 10 days that we were out there hunting in Oregon. So we were thinking about on the drive home and everything like that, some of the lessons that we learned. This was the first trip big trip that me and Garrett have taken, other than going to Kansas for a whitetail hunt. But this is the first big trip that we've taken where we did this kind of hunt. This is the first time Garrett's ever elk hunted. This is the first time I've elk hunted with a bow in over 10 years. This is the first time we've done a backpack style trip. And yes, I've hunted that area before, but like I said, it's been 10 plus years since I've hunted it. And so a lot of things can change. But so it was a lot of things at the same time, plus filming it for you all to enjoy. But a lot of things all at one time that compounded a situation. And yeah, we weren't successful, but we were successful in other different ways. One thing being all the lessons that we learned. One thing that kind of hit us was time frame. So, with like you guys, we work a job. We're both in the military, but we have a job and we have to put in for vacation time. And we originally wanted to go the last 2 weeks of the season, but because of some work issues and stuff that happened, we had to shift our dates and we had to go the middle 2 weeks, which wasn't like what we wanted, but it's what we have to deal with. With our job, we're not always able to get the exact time off that we want. We have to work around some schedules and different things that are asked of us. So, but a lot of you guys experience that same thing. The second thing that we encountered was the weather. I think that was a big thing throughout the West this year was the weather. Big, heavy fog-like smoke that was covering a lot of the areas. And, from listening to other people, it seemed like it had a lot of the elk quiet and not wanting to talk because the fog, the smoke was so thick. And we don't know if it's because did that interrupt their sense of smell and their sight, and so they were not willing to bugle and talk and stuff until they could actually see something, or you got in close on them, or what? We don't know the answer to that, but I think that's something that everybody experienced throughout the West, and it was definitely something that we haven't experienced in a while. And then the temperatures, it was warm, but nothing out of the ordinary, and there's still people that were successful. So I don't think the temperatures had as big of a deal. I wish it would have got a little bit colder, but can't control the weather. So one of our other lessons learned is e-scouting. So we did do some e-scouting for this hunt, but we didn't drill down the e-scouting the right way. We picked broad areas. We picked big loops that we wanted to go out and conduct and hike, but we didn't factor in was the little draws, the little benches, the elk finding features that we wanted to really go and focus our efforts on. We just, shotgun blasted an area and said, we're going to go try that area out. And not fully understanding what the terrain was like and what kind of, we could have done a lot better on the e-scouting. So that's definitely a lesson learned. And for next year, we've already been, diving in and looking at detailed maps and factoring in certain particular areas and focusing down to 100 by 100 yard area that we're looking at, not a grand scaled spot. We gave up too early, right? So as you saw at the end of this video, or at the end of the day here and the end of the trip, we quit a day and a half early. We were pretty defeated, especially going 2 days without hearing a sound. And that kind of goes into, another point that we had, but you got to understand that you're not going to get into them every day, and that you're not going to hear them every day, and you just got to keep going, because it only takes one, like old Born and Raised would say, right? Is it only takes one, and you just need one to play the game. And you never know if you wake up that next day and there's an elk that moved into the area and now he's fired up and hot, and you're going to make it work, and then you have a whole different trip, vice you quitting early. This is a big one for us that we're really trying to hammer in on ourselves, is to not get discouraged, and we need to lift each other up and keep pushing all the way until that last minute, when we plan on going home, not giving up too early. So I say we gave up too early twice. Obviously, one, the overall trip itself, and the second one was, if you go back to that first day that we were in there, the first place that we went up, hiked in, stayed overnight, hiked around, bugling, didn't hear any bulls, didn't hear any elk, and then we dropped off one side and found some good sign. Still didn't get a bull to react or anything, but we found we were in some good sign. And we gave up too early in that spot. I think if we would have pushed it another day, maybe something different would have happened. But I think we gave up a little bit too early on that one. And that kind of goes into this next point of, way too often throughout this hunt, we came out with daylight still left. That's a big one I'm going to try to push on for next year, is that we're not coming out until it's dark. Unless we're carrying meat on our back. Every day that we came out to our main camp was midday. And yes, you do need some breaks and stuff when you're doing a long trip, but I mean, we did it every other day. I mean, we were coming out and it was noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and it doesn't get dark until 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And so we gave that 6 hours, 7 hours, sometimes 8 hours of daylight. We just gave it up. I mean, we weren't hunting. And so that's definitely a big lesson learned that was hammering us hard, is we just came out way too early. Water was a big factor. It goes back into the e-scouting, right? We were e-scouting such large areas, and when you turn it into topo mode, there was like intermittent streams or creeks that were shown on the map, but then when we get there, they're dry. And it put us in a hurt a couple times, and it really kind of locked us into that one spot that we ended up hunting 3, 4, or 5 days in, because we had water that was close by. We had a very good water supply coming out of a spring, and so we set up our base camp, or set up a spike camp right in that spot, and hunted just in that immediate area, and it kind of just locked us in. So one of the other things that we've been looking at for e-scouting for the next year is really pinpointing those water spots, pinpointing the water spots on the map, and then possibility my brother is going to actually try to go scout some areas this summer coming up, and he's going to mark on the map if those are good water sources or if they're dry. Obviously, a lot of it depends on the weather throughout the spring and the summer, and snow packs and everything like that. So we're really hoping that we don't have as dry of a summer like we did last year, and that a lot more water is available, so we can get out and we can keep moving. Because the idea originally was we were going to be moving and hunting with camp on our back, and we were going to push and then hunt and push and hunt and just stay where we stayed. But because of the water, we got really focused in on one spot. And that leads into the next one of we were too scared to move locations. And when I say move locations, I mean make major moves. Because, you know, the first thought was, well, what if we get there and there's no water? What are we going to do? We don't want to be, you know, screw ourselves and be, you know, way back in somewhere, not being able to find water, get dehydrated, and, you know, cramp up and have an incident out in the woods with no help in sight. So that really, you know, scared us in making some major moves. There's a couple really big canyons that we wanted to check out, and some other areas that we wanted to get into, and we probably should have went and moved to, but we got too nervous. We said, what if we show up and there's no water? I mean, we were looking on our maps and springs that were showing there's supposed to be water. We get there and there's no water. So it really kind of hurt us and gave us that false sense of security that we thought water was going to be there and it wasn't. Probably one of the biggest things that we learned, lessons that we learned this year, was mismanaging our expectations. We went in there with these high expectations of not only being able to see animals, but that we're going to go in with camp on our back, and we're going to stay 5 nights out there, and we're going to not come back until we either shot something or we run out of food. And that just wasn't the case. We got a real reality check that first night, or that second day, I guess you could say. When we couldn't find water, right? It goes back to the water situation, but we just didn't get a bowl to pop off and nothing. And yeah, we got into some sign, but it wasn't really like super fresh sign or nothing like that. So we were like, oh, let's get out of moved areas. And so managing expectations is huge. Like I said before, you're not going to get into them every day, and you got to understand that. You got to know that reality, and that you got to be able to properly manage your expectations of what you can do, and not just you personally, but your partner as well. If you're going in there as a team, you got to all be, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So if he cannot perform to a certain level, then you're at his level of performing, and vice versa for you. So really being able to manage those expectations is huge, very big for each of us. And that rolls right into the fitness. Being in the military and being Marines, we have to be physically fit for our job and stuff, but we also weren't expecting such big mountains and big hills and climbing and sliding over, jumping up and down over deadfall and everything like that. So definitely the way we approach our fitness is going to be different this year. So we're really focusing on core strength, endurance, packing heavy packs. We're going to both do the hike to hunt challenge again, like we always do, by backcountry hunters and anglers. So that really helps us get out there and get about, but also focusing on our endurance and our core strength and stuff like that is really what we're trying to focus in on fitness. Because not only do we owe it to ourselves and our partners that we're going out there with to be physically fit and be able to push, but we also owe it to that animal. If you shoot an animal back in the backcountry and stuff, you owe it to that animal to be able to take it out all the way back to camp and back to home without it going bad, or you having to leave any of it in there because you physically can't take it out of the woods. So those are just some of the lessons that we learned. I could litter this whole whiteboard with lessons learned from the trip, and honestly, that's what makes it successful. So in terms of, was it a successful trip? In my eyes it was, and in Garrett's eyes, I know we've both talked about that, it was a successful trip because we learned so much information, not only about ourselves and what we can actually go and do, but we learned about the woods. We learned about the elk in the area, and I mean, we're gonna be even better, bigger and better and badder like to come this year. So, you know, overall, it was a success. It's all about how you measure success, but we believe it was a successful trip. I mean, Garrett got to draw on a cow. You know, his first year elk hunting, and he got to draw on a cow at 50 yards. All, you know, 2 more steps out, and we would be talking a whole different level. We'd be talking a whole different thing. We did get close on a bull. We were within probably 60 yards of a bull. The brush was just a little bit too thick, and we chased that bull for 3 days. We were on him. So, you know, it's just one little thing changes, and your whole trip is, you know, a success because you were able to harvest the animal. So I really hope that you all don't measure success based off of, you know, did you get one or not, but more of, you know, what did you learn? So I hope this helps you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching our series. Like I said, if you haven't seen the whole thing, go back, watch the beginning all the way to the end. We appreciate it. And always, like always, you know, visit our store, oldbreedoutdoors.com, buy some merchandise. It helps us be able to go out and provide more content for you and get out on more trips. And then hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and hit a like, and then leave a comment. If you saw something that we should have done differently, go ahead, leave a comment. We both have really thick skin, so we can take criticism pretty good. And so yeah, we like the feedback. We're gonna go back at it again. We're looking at going to Oregon again for elk hunting. We're trying to line up everything right now. Once again, last 2 weeks of the season, hitting it hard. We might hit a different area. You never know. We're gonna get down there and start e-scouting our hearts out and do the best we can and pick a good spot, and hopefully we can be able to get lucky enough to harvest an animal. But overall, it'll be a successful trip anyways. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.